You're just talking through the rest and digest or the fight or flight and going through that sympathetic, parasympathetic and talking how we can stop that big roller coaster and bring it back into a bit more of a flow instead. So I like to talk through just little tips every week when I can with our staff. And then also I meet one-on-one at least once a month with everybody to go through 7 areas of life. So we look at the 7 areas of life and we really like to empower them and help them empower themselves in those 7 areas of life. Because as one of my mentors said, that if you're not empowered in every area of your life, you allow somebody else to overpower you from the outside.
Welcome to the Property Management Podcast. If you don't know me by now, I am Kylie Walker, aka That Property Mum. Thank you so much for listening. Now, health and wellness don't normally go hand in hand in property management. We are so used to hearing conversations about stress, anxiety, and burnout. And believe me, I am the queen of burnout. And I really wish I knew 10 years ago what I do know now. It would have made a huge difference to my health, happiness, relationships, and I know it would have prevented that revolving door of team members I've often complained about. But what if I told you there is a business, a real estate business for that matter, that has taken health and wellness and the conversations around it and turned it into an actual role in their business? Let me introduce you to Stone Real Estate at Coomera on the Gold Coast. They are a progressive real estate office priding themselves on high performance, and they're headed up by Michelle and Shane Evans, who thrive on building a team of passionate, like-minded individuals who share their love of the local area, its people, and its property. And they're determined to provide an unrivaled real estate experience for their team members and clients alike. Now, today we're going to talk about the role that Michelle plays in the business. And it's not what you're probably thinking. Michelle's role is the Health and Wellness Director. What does that actually mean? Well, simply put, she provides in-house support for the Stone Coomera team and keeps a close eye on the health and wellness of the business in its entirety. And although she wears many hats, her greatest pleasure comes from seeing the Stone Coomera office grow and thrive. Michelle is instrumental in cultivating a positive, vibrant culture with a family atmosphere that makes Stone Coomera a joy to be part of. Outside of Stone Coomera, Michelle spends her time writing novels, studying nutrition, mental health, and essential oils, while also she is facilitating her youngest daughter's education. Michelle actually homeschooled all 4 of her children, and I'd love you to take a listen to her story. It's as motivational and inspirational as you'll get. So take a listen. Michelle, thank you so much for joining me on the Property Management Podcast. Now, before we dive in, can you share with our audience a little bit about yourself and how you got started doing what you're doing now?
Okay. So, about 16 years ago, we decided to homeschool our children. So I have been homeschooling 4 of our children for 16 years. Obviously, 3 of them are now graduated and 1's still in school. And my husband was selling real estate for the last 18 years. He's been in real estate. And as our kids started growing up, I decided I was going to join him. And we had just an independent agency, and then we joined with the Stone Network to actually open up our property management side of things. And that's where I thought I would come in and help him. So through COVID, I got my registration like 1,000 other people, and I became the BDM to grow our property management organically. I soon realised that wasn't where my brilliance lay, and so we employed a casual part-time BDM, and we were outsourcing our property management at the time. After a few years, we realised that wasn't working, and it kind of ended up pear-shaped on us, unfortunately. But the good thing is our business manager is ex-PM, and she said she'd help us bring it in-house. So with her help, we brought it in-house. It's a really small red roll, and we've grown it a little bit since then. still grow organically. So I was going to be the property manager. And again, I quickly realized, yeah, that's not me either.
Nor me.
And there are so many people out there who are brilliant at property management. And I guess we wanted to offer something different, which a lot of people do in property management, and offer the staff something different because our business manager was so burnt out in property management. We didn't want to burn out anyone we employed. So I guess that brought me around to it's so important having that support in health and wellness within the office. After being my husband's support person for 18 years, there's far too much mental health issues, addiction issues, just so many health issues within real estate because it's so high stress. And so, yeah, that's how I came to say, hey, I've been studying nutrition while the kids are at home and I've done lots and lots of short courses. I've got a big skill set now to be able to actually help you guys in that area of life. Yeah.
Fantastic. So you're now the health and wellness director in the company. So maybe share. I mean, I absolutely love that, and I think it's not two things that go hand in hand with property management normally, which is health and wellness and property management. Property management is normally the anti health and wellness. So let's maybe share a little bit about how that came about and what does that actually involve inside your business on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis.
Yeah. So in our meetings, I generally just share a little momentum moment piece but looking at a different aspect of health or just a healthy way to run a business and the business within the business and they're running their own little businesses. And I guess I like to just share that kind of mindset, which a lot of, I guess, personal development people will share as well. I just really target to knowing exactly where our staff are and our office is to be able to give them that how you can keep that momentum up in a health way, if that makes sense.
Without being stressed, highly stressed and anxious and
You're just talking through the rest and digest or the fight or flight and going through that sympathetic, parasympathetic and talking how we can stop that big roller coaster and bring it back into a bit more of a flow instead. So I like to talk through just little tips every week when I can with our staff. And then also I meet one-on-one at least once a month with everybody to go through 7 areas of life. So we look at the 7 areas of life and we really like to empower them and help them empower themselves in those 7 areas of life. Because as one of my mentors said, that if you're not empowered in every area of your life, you allow somebody else to overpower you from the outside.
So what are those 7 areas? Maybe let's dive into that a little bit and talk about those 7 areas of life and how it can help if you've got all of those, I guess, aligned and in balance, maybe?
Sure.
If you are anything like me, you think you know your rent roll numbers. Well, I thought I did until I had a rent roll health check and I was quite literally shocked. The money I was leaving on the table was astounding. And this is not something that I'm proud to admit. There were missed management fees, let fees, advertising, and lease renewal fees not being charged, and properties even without bonds. And all of this was happening despite monthly audits being conducted in my business. So how did I uncover all these gaps in my valuable income? Well, I had a rent roll due diligence from my good friend Tazi, aka the Rent Roll Queen and founder of the Tazi Way, a specialist in rent roll due diligence, business valuation, and management rights. The Tazi Way is the innovative force driving the real estate industry. With 25 years of business and real estate acumen, they find gaps and risks in your agency to find undiscovered value. If you'd like to book your business in for a rent roll due diligence, head to the link in the show notes and mention That Property Mum for a 10% discount.
So we've got, now, top of my head, I haven't got them written down. Family, financial, social, physical, energy, job, business. It's 5. What am I missing? Spiritual or service. And
Relationships, maybe? Is it?
that comes into, did I say social?
Yep, you did. Yep.
social, physical, financial. I feel like I've missed one.
But yeah, so yeah,
Yeah,
but it's all
definitely.
those aspects.
Pretty
Um,
generic, yeah.
yeah, and then is it about setting goals? Is it about, you know, reflecting on what's working and not working in those different areas, and then how you can address that?
Yeah, so I just I go through and just ask how they feel like they're going in each area. And we've come up with a score system and we go from 1 to 7 and how you feeling from 1 to 7, 1 being really crappy to 7 being absolutely amazing. And so just looking through that scoring system to see which areas are down a little bit. And that changes month from month to everybody. And it's really a process that's for them to then take away and do what they want with it. And in every area, I've usually got something that I've learned along the way that can help them to upskill or just to work through things to be able to then function better and come back into balance, as you said. Yeah.
I love that. I think that's so valuable and so important. And, you know, probably a lot of business owners might be listening to this thinking, you know, I would love to do that, but A, I don't have the time. I don't have the resources. I don't know as much as what you do, Michelle, and I couldn't afford to pay somebody to come into it. So I guess for other businesses, what do you have any tips on how they could implement this without it sort of with the health and wellness, without it sort of costing a fortune or having to employ somebody specific to sit in that particular role? I mean, I think it's an amazing role. I would love to be able to do that inside my own business.
I guess it does come down from management, doesn't it? So it has to be an interest of management to start with. And if somebody in management is willing to upskill a little themselves in that area, then they'd be able to share what they're learning. That's a step in the right direction. Otherwise, outsourcing. Yeah, I think. I know you've talked a lot about outsourcing in different areas, and it's so valuable if you don't have that skill set within the office to consider outsourcing and just caring for your staff and yourself well, so that you don't fall into that pit that's so many real estate agents do.
And I think you just hit the nail on the head there. It starts with yourself though, doesn't it really? Like you being as a business owner or a property manager, being in that position of self-care and, you know, personal development. Because if you aren't in that space, you can't obviously help anyone else if you're not already in that space yourself.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
Well, Michelle, what are some of the transformations then that you have seen inside your business since, you know, becoming the health and wellness director at Stone
Mhm.
there?
Mhm. I see our culture is amazing. It just allows people to be where they are in their journey, and that's okay. And I think it allows everybody to understand the highs and the lows of each other, themselves first, and then each other more. Not that they know what the others are going through. I just feel like going through it yourself, you see what you're going through, and then go back out into the office and see what, oh, yeah, that's right. People have got a life outside of real estate. And it allows for just a beautiful culture within the office.
And has it helped with your staff or your team retention as well? Have you found it has lessened the turnover of people?
I think yes and no. It's obviously not for everybody. And as an owner, that's the culture we want here. So, yeah. So, yes and no.
Yep. So I guess long term and the
Long
more.
term, the people who are student to our business will be, yes, they really appreciate it. They stay on. It's one of the perks they love. And the ones who aren't so into it, who are just focused on numbers and money, tend to be the ones that will move on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's really important that you find those people in your business that do align with your values and your morals as well.
Mm.
So, talk to me about a little bit of change of topic, but talk to me how you've transitioned, I guess, from being that homeschool mum to then coming into a busy real estate business as the business owner, the wife of the sales agent. How did you find that transition? What some struggles that you experienced? Because I do have a large audience of working mums
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, it was hard actually. It was a bit hard, a bit daunting for a little while, feeling like I was just doing something so out of my comfort zone and so not me. And then recognizing what was really important to me, my value, and coming back into who I am. rather than trying to be somebody. So that's what I had to work through when I first stepped out. And then I realized that as much as I love being in here, I still got a daughter at home and I'm homeschooling. And so I'm only kind of coming in, they joke around, but coming once a month. It's not once a month. I'm being in every day this week, but I pop in and out and then I'll do what from home.
Yeah,
And that's
absolutely.
how I managed to transition. So, yeah.
There's been so much talk of stress, overwhelm, and burnout in property management lately. Do you want to know how I overcame all of that? Yes, I hit rock bottom multiple times, but I got myself a virtual assistant. Actually, not just one, but 3. But I didn't just get any VA, I got a PMVA. What are they? Well, they are the most well-trained in the business. And not only that, you also have a backup VA, so that essentially your business is never without admin support ever again. And my health, time, and business has never looked back. Your PMVA can take care of tasks like rent arrears, lease preparation and renewals, maintenance follow-up, routine inspection bookings, data entry, audits, prospecting, inbox management, and so much more. And the best part of implementing a PMVA in my business was that it freed up my time and my team's time to take care of important things like customer service. What makes me feel so safe is that PMVA is owned by Tiffany Botel, both here and in the Philippines, making my data secure and giving me more control over the VA arrangement. So head to the link in the show notes to book in your discovery call with Lady Boss Tiff. And you said you tried a couple of different roles in the business and you've now found, I guess, your best fit. Do you think it's really important for people to, you know, accept that you're not good at everything? Like not everybody is suited to every single role. I mean, I've learnt this the hard way. I've tried every position in my own business as well. And I clearly know that I have to stay away from anything to do with administration tasks. I have very poor attention to detail. So was that kind of what it was like for you? Just kind of going through trying different things, filling a gap. And you do have to, as a business owner, fill
Yeah.
gaps in the business where they're needed at different times and different stages.
Absolutely. Yes. So, yeah, having a go at things. And that's also something that we open up for our staff to allow that freedom of movement around different roles if they want to have a go at something else. Because sometimes you don't know what you're really good at until you have a go at it. And there is so much in real estate, really, that so many different roles. And some people are just great in one area. We had somebody come in yesterday, I think, and so they'd like to give something else a go down the track. And so now we're just work towards that, which just, I guess, me being more aware of my values and those 7 areas of life, and then taking that to our staff to get them to have a look at their values, what they really value, and how they're going in the 7 areas of life, and where their giftings are and what they're brilliant at, and just allow them to flourish in those areas.
So, shining the spotlight back on the health and wellness, what are the
Yeah.
big issues that you are seeing, not only in your own team, but obviously, being well known and being a part of the greater Gold Coast real estate community? What is kind of the themes that you're seeing with, health and wellness, or the lack of health and wellness?
Yeah. Some things, finance is a big one at the moment, and lacking finance causes stress. And I'm seeing that everywhere. And I guess then, as the health and wellness director, it's helping people reframe or helping people see that it's not the end of the world to work through finances, and then to help, like even landlords not wanting to spend, and then helping our property manager talk through that with the landlord to help them see the benefit then of spending that money so that the tenants are happy. And because everybody's lacking finances at the moment, it just seems to be a common theme throughout everything, and it causes stress. And stress then will lead to a lot of other issues.
Yeah. So I guess part of your role is, I guess, identifying those causes of stress and anxiety and coming up with solutions for your team. on how to navigate. And that's brilliant what you just said. Like you're having a conversation about something that, a young property manager in their 20s, having financial conversations is really awkward for them, isn't it?
Yeah, and it goes further. It's not just about the issue at hand. It always goes further. There's a whole story behind what's going on in every issue that comes in. And so just treating our staff like whole people helps them, I guess, treat everyone else like a whole person, not just the landlord that owns a property. And yeah.
And that's so true. Like, this, but when people react to certain things, like a conflict situation, it's generally not that conflict situation, is it? It's, it's the stories that they might be telling themselves or their past triggers or traumas that they've experienced. And I know personally myself, I have a lot of triggers and I can react when I'm not aware. I can react very emotionally and fire off before I even think and take a deep breath. And that has, caused a lot of issues in my relationships in the past. So I have to be very conscious of those triggers and how I emotionally conduct myself at times.
Mm-hmm.
Is that kind of stuff that you work through with your team as well?
Yeah.
And I imagine with all the training you've done, you do recognize these kinds of things and patterns.
Yeah. What's coming up for you is a big question. I'll ask them, what's coming up? What's going on? And where's that come from? Because it's a trigger. And we're not aware of other people's triggers. And it just gets something we go through. I don't think anyone ever gets past childhood hurts or traumas that happened in our past. I think no matter how many we work on, we've got another one that turns out that we missed that. There it is. Oh, yeah, need to work on that. Need to think through that. And allowing ourselves the time to think and heal through those traumas.
I think you sound like you're almost like a business and life coach as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I've done one of those courses too.
Yeah. Oh, well, I think that's amazing that your team have got access to somebody with those amazing skill sets. And that's a real point of difference and a unique asset that you bring, not only your business, but to the real estate industry and your clients as a whole. I think that's amazing.
I hope so. That's my hope. Thanks, Carly.
I think the biggest challenge you're going to have, though, is, where do you stop learning? Where do you stop helping? Like, there's always something new, isn't there? There's something, a new book on mindset, or I just said in a previous podcast, I listened to a podcast on breath work recently in the diary of a CEO. And I have a really high activated nervous system. So it's been and I've done lots of research and study and spoken to lots of people like yourself. And it's amazing this breath work that I've been doing has been the solution that I needed.
Amazing. Calms this whole system right down doing breath work. It's so good.
Yeah.
Thanks for the reminder. I like breath work. I do it in the car. Breathe. Okay.
Well, speaking of personal development then, is there something that, and I know you've said you've done a lot of personal development and courses and stuff like that, which is amazing in itself. What is something that you could share with our audience that you think would help them with their health and wellness right now?
Keep being open to the new things coming in. I think a lot of people have been regurgitating the same thing over and over. And I follow Dr. Trivedi, Dr. Rewire in America. He's my mentor. And he's got a new approach to wellness in general. And I just think be open to new studies coming out always and be aware of what's going on in your team because, there's too many tragic stories in real estate.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Totally again. If anyone wanted to learn a bit more about how they could become a health and wellness director in their own business or just want to ask you some questions about some of the tools and strategies that you use to support your team, what would be the best way for somebody to get in touch with you?
Give me a call. Give me a call or email. I'm at Stone Real Estate at Coomera. So if you look on the Coomera website, it's called Stone. Yeah, just do that. Send me an email or a phone call and have a chat.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Michelle, for joining me. And I think that is absolutely amazing, the support you're giving to your team there.
Right. Thank you, Kylie. And can I just say thank you for all you give to the industry and your podcast. They're very encouraging and your training. have been so beneficial. So I really appreciate what you bring to this space as well.
Thank you so much, Michelle. That's very nice to hear. One thing I dread doing is chasing up rent arrears and debt collection. It takes up valuable time and it can often lead to conflict. But it is a necessary evil when you are running a property management business. But there is an easier way to make sure your tenants' rent is paid on time and in advance, and it's called RentPay. RentPay is a secure and simple to use payment platform that saves agents time and money with fast, accurate receipting while making life better for renters. To top it all off, you'll never have to worry about dishonor fees or unknown deposits again. How good is that? Cleared funds are deposited straight into your bank account in a single daily payment with accurate receipting and reference numbers auto-assigned, and it's fully compatible with all trust accounting systems. It's a super flexible payment option for tenants who can pay rent in multiple ways, including direct debit, credit card, or instantly pay with Payer ID. Fees are minimal, and RentPay even helps with the rent arrears process by automating reminders to renters when payments are due or missed. If you are currently paying large bank fees, struggling with constant dishonors because the funds aren't cleared when their funds land in your trust, or wasting time chasing up unknown payments, I encourage you to book in a free demo with RentPay and give yourself and your renters an easier way to pay rent. Can I ask you a quick favour before you leave this episode? Now, we all know how important reviews are for businesses these days, and mine is no different. If you could spare just a minute to follow, rate and review this podcast, it would mean a lot to me. In fact, what would get me super excited is if you share this podcast with someone in the industry who you think might need to hear some of the episodes right now. And if you'd like to find out more about working with me or any of the products I have to help you start, grow or scale your property management business, head to my website, thatpropertymum.com.au, or check out the links in the show notes.